they tried to throw me out of my own cabin. They called me a troublemaker for not following their fancy neighborhood rules. But when I revealed the truth, that I owned the lake, the land, and even their parking lot, silence filled the entire meeting. Before we dive in, make sure to hit that subscribe button for more real-life war stories on USA Drama 2.0. My name is Ethan Cole, and I never thought I'd find myself at war with a homeowners association, especially not one that didn't even exist when I built my cabin. 15 years ago, I bought a piece of land by Crystal Lake, a calm, beautiful spot surrounded by tall pine trees and endless birdsong. It was my dream place, quiet, peaceful, and far away from the chaos of city life. I spent weekends building a small wooden cabin there with my own hands, one nail and one plank at a time. No fancy construction crew, just me, some friends, and a whole lot of coffee. For years, it was paradise. Then one day, paradise got new neighbors. A big real estate company bought up the land next to mine and built a gated community called Crystal Pines Estates. Shiny houses, perfectly trimmed lawns, and rules for everything, from mailbox height to what color curtains were acceptable. I didn't care much at first. I was outside their gates, minding my own business. But apparently, that wasn't enough for them. It started small. A letter in my mailbox that wasn't even from the postal service, just a piece of paper slipped in with bold letters saying, "Greater than, welcome to the Crystal Pines neighborhood. Please review our WA rules to stay in compliance." I chuckled. Compliance? With what? My cabin had been here long before they existed. Still, I ignored it. But ignoring them was my first mistake. A week later, a woman named Karen, the WA president, showed up at my cabin. She was dressed in a crisp suit, clipboard in hand, and a wide forced smile that didn't reach her eyes. "Hello," she said sweetly. "I'm here to talk about your property's appearance." I raised an eyebrow. "What about it?" "Well," she continued, glancing around, "the color of your cabin doesn't match the community aesthetic, and your dock on the lake isn't regulation length. We'll need you to adjust those to meet WA standards." I laughed. "I'm not part of your WA. This is my private property." Her smile faltered. "All properties around Crystal Lake are under WA jurisdiction." "No," I corrected, "all new properties are. Mine's been here for 15 years. I own this land outright, and the lakefront too." She blinked, taken aback. "That can't be right." "Oh, it's very right," I said, handing her a copy of my original deed, clearly marking my ownership of the lake's shoreline and most of the access points the community used. She left without another word, but I knew it wasn't over. Over the next few months, things got worse. First, they started sending letters again, violation notices, with fines listed in the hundreds. Then, they began parking near my cabin, inspecting the property for supposed code violations. At one point, they even blocked my driveway with traffic cones, claiming it was a restricted maintenance zone. That's when I realized this wasn't about community rules. It was about control. I called the local county office, and they confirmed what I already knew. The WA had no legal authority over my property. But that didn't stop them. Then came the final straw, a notice taped to my cabin door one rainy morning. "Greater than, eviction notice. You are required to vacate your property within 30 days or face removal by WA enforcement." I stared at the paper, water dripping down its ink. I wasn't even angry, just amazed. They were trying to evict me from land that was mine before their WA even existed. That's when I decided, enough was enough. I called my lawyer friend, Megan, who had helped me close on the cabin years ago. When I told her what was happening, she laughed out loud. "Ethan, they're completely in the wrong," she said. "You still own not just the cabin, but the land extending 50 yards into the lake, and the plot the WA uses as their community parking lot." That last part hit me. Wait, I own their parking lot. Megan sent me the original property map, and sure enough, my land extended right up to the gravel lot where the WA guests and visitors parked for their fancy community clubhouse. Somehow, they never noticed. And suddenly, I had leverage. The next week, I got an invitation to an HOA meeting. Apparently, they wanted to resolve ongoing disputes. I accepted. The meeting took place in their polished clubhouse, chandeliers, framed photos of the board, the works. About 20 residents sat around a long table. Karen, in her usual crisp attire, smiled as I walked in. "Mr. Cole," she began, "we've received multiple complaints about your property's non-compliance. We've decided it's in the community's best interest if you relocate." I stayed silent, letting her talk. She went on about visual harmony, property value, and safety concerns. Finally, she finished with a smug smile. You have 30 days to leave. Then I spoke. Actually, I said calmly, you all have 30 days to move your cars. Her smile vanished. Excuse me. I pulled out my deed and spread it on the table. This, I said, pointing, is the property line. That parking lot your HOA uses for community events. It's on my land. You've been using it for free for 10 years. The room went silent. Karen turned red. That's absurd, she said. You can't possibly. Already checked with the county, I interrupted. It's mine, and starting next month, I'll be charging $200 per car per month for parking. Or I'll have them towed. The murmurs around the table grew louder. Someone in the back even chuckled. Karen tried to regain control. You're bluffing. I smiled. No, but you know what else I own? The only dock access to the lake, which means your residence's paddle boats, kayaks, and fishing trips all depend on my permission. Her jaw dropped. You can't do that. Oh, but I can, I said. And I will, unless the HOA stops trying to interfere with my property. I left the meeting with every eye in the room on me. It felt good. 2 days later, I got a knock on my door. It was Karen again, but this time without the clipboard. She looked different, calmer. Mr. Cole, she said softly, perhaps we got off on the wrong foot. The HOA board would like to come to an understanding. I sipped my coffee, pretending to think. An understanding, yes, she said, if you could just grant us continued access to the parking lot and lake area, we'll leave you and your property alone. No more letters, no more fines. I leaned against the doorframe. Fine, but there are conditions. She nodded quickly. Of course. First, I said, you'll sign a legal agreement acknowledging that my cabin and land are outside HOA jurisdiction. Second, you'll pay a small annual maintenance fee for use of the parking lot and lake. Nothing outrageous, just enough to cover wear and tear. She hesitated, but she knew she had no choice. A week later, we signed the documents. The HOA paid the first annual fee, and for the first time in months, my property was left alone. It's been a year since that day, and the difference is night and day. The HOA never bothered me again. In fact, they've started greeting me politely when we cross paths. Every summer, their residents park in the lot, legally now, and wave as they walk past. The hostility is gone, replaced by quiet respect. Sometimes I even walk down to the lake at sunset, coffee in hand, watching the water shimmer under the fading light. It's peaceful again, the way it used to be. And every time I see that little HOA parking sign by my gate, I can't help but smile. Because sometimes, the best way to deal with people who try to control you is to remind them who really owns the ground they're standing on. So the next time someone tries to tell you what to do on your own land, remember this story. Stand firm, stay calm, and know your rights. If you enjoyed this real-life HOA drama, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to USA Drama 2.0, where true stories meet powerful lessons. Because sometimes, the quietest person in the room holds the biggest surprise.